Independence Day, my father was asked to be a chief guest in a small government school near our house. He couldn't really know how to respond to that request because he was worried how would he deliver a speech to the crowd which has a combination of children, adults and some educated people. So he went on telling about how independence affected people. He told all the stories that he knew. Eventually he ended up boring the people over there. He spoke for about 30-40 minutes. I was also one among the audience. I think in life sometimes things happens to us, isn't it? You are requested to give speeches, you are requested to motivate someone, you are requested to influence someone's decision. If you are a salesperson, you are asked to do this day in and day out to persuade people, to influence people's decisions, isn't it? So this session, this lesson is more about understanding the different types of speeches that we might deliver during the whole process. So predominantly I would tell you that there are 3 different types of speeches. One is inspirational, where you try to motivate people, you try to tell stories of someone who has achieved, say rags to riches stories or stories of underdogs defeating the bigger person. Something like Chak De India movie, where you see normal people becoming better, becoming successful, and that inspires you, that motivates you, and you always get goosebumps when you listen to such stories, isn't it? So these are one type of speeches where people try to inspire you with their message. The second type of speeches are informative. We tend to give information, we tend to educate people, create awareness about something so that most of the people understand and they try to use it in their regular life. Say when you talk about NFTs, that is non-fungible tokens, or cryptocurrency or financial independence, any other topic which has to do with more information, then it is called as an informative topic. You essentially try to educate your audience by giving a lot of information about that particular subject. And the last type is called the influential speeches. You persuade people, make them change their habits and influence their decisions in buying a product or in choosing something. These are called as influential speeches. If you are someone who is in the closing side of a marketing team, you would know that your end speech, your end negotiation carries a lot of weightage than the initial presentation. The third type of speeches are influential speeches. When you want others to change their habits, give something that they are already doing, give up something that they are already doing, or if you want them to buy or try a new service, all these are called as influential speeches. You are trying to persuade others to buy your decisions. So the third type is what usually closers in a marketing team or sales team would use. When they go for negotiations, they try to persuade the client, telling that theirs is the best and they should go for the deal. And I am going to explain about these 3 things in detail now. Let's go for the first one, that is the inspirational speech. When I was in my school days, I guess I was in my 6th standard when I came to know about this lady called Dr. Muthulakshmi Reddy. I read about her in her book. I understood that she was a freedom fighter who was a young widow and then she went on to become a female surgeon. She also contributed a lot to abolish Sati system in India, to abolish Devdasi system in India, and of course she did a lot of work to empower women in India. Those times widow remarriages is something which people cannot even think of, and she was one person who was instrumental in doing all this. She really inspired me when I read about her from the book. It made me think that I should also become a strong woman like her. So when you share such stories with people, when you talk about someone who has created a difference in others' lives, then it becomes an inspirational speech. Nowadays, if you take the recent example, take our recent president, Draupadi ma'am. So she comes from a tribal background, and now she has achieved the status of the first lady of India, the president of India. What more can she get? So when you talk about those stories, people are really motivated. People do relate that yes, they can also come up in their life. Especially when you talk to students, when you talk to the younger generation, these kind of inspirational speeches makes a lot of sense. Whatever your topic is, add a little element of inspiration to it, add a little element of story to it, add information that can actually inspire them to move forward in their life. So these things will make your speech an emotional, at the same time an effective one with the younger generation. The second one is the informative speeches that I shared. Informative speeches, I would like to quote an example here. I was reading an article say 2-3 years ago, and I came to know about how technology impacts our buying pattern, our buying behavior. So there was this person who was in his mother's house for some time, about a week. He was using mobile phone, he was using his smartphone, and his mother also has a smartphone. They had no interaction much, but then when he came back to his house, whatever products his mother was using, toothpaste, pulses, brands that she uses, he started getting offers for all those things. So he was so surprised to know that the buying pattern of his mother influences what he buys now, because he is bombarded with advertisements, he is bombarded with offers with the brands that the mother is aware of. And that's the kind of impact technology brings in today. That is the kind of influence, the power technology has over us nowadays. When I shared about this information to you, you are aware that yes, there are certain algorithms which pushes you products based on your recent searches, based on your recent purchases, or someone who's in your house who has bought. So I'm creating an awareness, or I'm educating about something to you. This becomes an informative speech. When you talk about the impact of pollution that is created, or looking for a cleaner energy resource, usage of electrical vehicles, when you talk about these topics, you are essentially trying to share more information, create more awareness, and make the audience understand the usage of certain things. So you give lots and lots of information about that topic to ensure that they have a clear understanding of that. And the next type is the influential type. You essentially try to persuade people with your decision process. When you say that mindfulness as a process is really useful to people, because when you follow mindfulness meditation, it allows you to be stress free, it allows you to be in the present, and it also allows you to be more productive when you work. So this information influences your audience, and it pushes them to take an action after listening to your speech, and this becomes an influential speech. So I would like to share an example here with respect to influential speeches. Generally, when I used to go for schools to meet young children, to talk to them and to share my experience, I always tell the girl children that being independent is more important, that they have to achieve financial independence before they get a boyfriend, because their boyfriends may leave anytime, but not the job that they have. So this is the kind of, I know I may be wrong or I may be right, but end of the day I am trying to influence people by sharing my opinion, by sharing the way I think, and I push them to take an action based on the information that I pass. So these are the three types of speeches that you might come across whenever you deliver. Say you want to go become a guest speaker at a place, or you want to motivate a team worker, you want to give a speech to your team stating why it is important to follow certain things. So these are the things which comes under the three categories of speeches that we discussed now. The exercise which follows after this will help you to segregate, to bifurcate these speeches and identify topics which are related to these three categories. Please do write to us to get expert opinion on the speeches that you prepare, on understanding if you have created a content that is relevant to the category that I have mentioned here. Do write to us at info@practills.com or WhatsApp 8825817030. For any questions, you can always reach out to us personally, and our experts are here to guide you throughout your public speaking journey. Thank you.